Welcome to round 11. Yeah, round 11. We did miss last week, so apologies about that. We've been very, very busy at work. Because, you know, next week I'm going off to Moscow. One more show before that, so don't worry, I'm still here for one week. So I'm going to have a good time with that bear. Anyway, I'm with my own little bear here. Melly, my host, she's back again for another week. Very comfortable here in the studio. One bye's gone now. Port Adelaide and Gold Coast have had their byes. All the byes start next week, so watch out for that. But let's have a look at last week's scores first. First of all, on rolling, 412, probably their biggest score for the year. We're pretty close to it. Defeated Sugar Daddies 332. Sugar Daddies are in a bit of a rut at the moment. However, they are starting to get some more players back. Next, it's Renegades. Could you have had it? We are hating Stiff. We're hating you, Stiff. You're just rolling along, you're cruising along, you're making dodgy trades, getting your team better. Well, you've had 2 wins in a row against me, so. Anyway, Stiff, Renegades, they are playing Trust. No, that's last week. They beat Trust and Process 365, 2 wins in a row. You've been, you prick. Top Guns were defeated by Rangers Anonymous. Sir Pickles Yum Yum, 409 defeated Gods of Olympus. The bottom beat top last week. Gods of Olympus' lowest score of the year, 313. Probably Sir Pickles Yum Yum's biggest score of the year, really. And Second Destroy lost to Maltese Falcons, 395. Let's have a look at the team of the week. Tom Hawkins was the best forward. More junk time goals, mind you, 26 points. Jesse Hogan, 58 points. I think he got traded this week. I don't know if he got traded or not. I'm not too sure. Nate Fife, best utility, 104. Dane Beams at 72. What's his name? Steb Ross. He got 60, like you know. Best ruckman was Stephen Martin at 62. Heath Shaw was the best halfback at 88 last week. And Devon Smith, the best tackler at 64. So what does that mean for the ladder? Well, Gods of Olympus are on top by 1 game. They're 8 wins. Renegades are second with 7 wins. Gods of Olympus now don't have the best score, average score. They've dropped down a fair bit. Renegades are the best average score. They're 382. Followed by Second Destroy, who's second best score, 375. They're tied with Trust the Process, who's third last. Second highest score and third. Anyway, let's get back to it. Rangers Anonymous are 4th. They're on 6 wins. Maltese Falcons are 6 wins. Top Guns are 4th. Top Guns are Sugar Daddies. I'm stuffing this up. 6th and 7th, whatever it is. 8th is Trust the Process. I'm Rolling is 9th. And Sir Pickles Yum Yum is 10th. So what does that mean? Well, the ladder for the mid-season draft order, Sir Pickles Yum Yum 1st, I'm Rolling 2nd, Trust the Process 3rd, Sugar Daddies 4th, Top Guns 5th, Maltese Falcons 6th, Rangers Anonymous 7th, Second Destroy 8th, Renegades 9th, and Gods of Olympus have the 10th pick and the 20th pick for those who don't know. But let's have a look at it now. There were a few trades and a few changes this week. That's right, so let's have a look at the delistings first. With that, well, a few teams dropped a few players. Jack News and Kobe Stevens were dropped from Trust the Process. Dylan Robinson, Darcy Parrish, Tom Latroy, and Pierce Hanley also dropped. Jack Rotts and Ryan Burden were dropped. Callum Marshback, Hampton, and Daniel Rich were dropped. Loeb, Weller, and Liam Jones, Hooley and Crouch. Tabernar, Bell, and Rayner were dropped. Josh Bruce, Mitch Wallace, Jason Johannesson, and Brad Hill were dropped. And Armitage, Brandon Material, Ryan Griffin, Brandon Ellis, and Dom Tyson were dropped. As for Kenner, well, someone tell me. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe I'll try to get his pick. Let's have a look at the trades. Alright, so the trades, Jack Gunston and Mitch Duncan were traded from Renegades, and they received Jesse Hogan and Aaron Hall and a 2nd round pick. That's a trade. Gods of Olympus, they trade Gary Ablett and his 1st and 2nd pick of the mid-season draft to Josh, to Super Young for Josh Kennedy and 2nd pick. So that one's done there. So that was pick 21 and 1st, I don't know what it is. And there was one other trade today, Alex Rands for pick 4 in the mid-season draft from Sugar Daddies, from Trust the Process. So yeah, alright, so that's the trades. It's all going to start tomorrow. Let's get back into it because I'm stuffing this up. So let's go to this week's games. So I'm stuffing this up, Melly. seriously, let's go to the first game. Trust the process. I'm the second highest scoring team. Second highest scoring team. Not much really needs to change in my team. However, I'm third last. Why does everyone have to have their best week against me? It's just not fair. What about me, Melly? It isn't fair. Anyway, let's get to it. Trust the process to play an Irelli this week. Irelli had the best score of the year. Let's have a look at the projected scores. It's 377 versus 369. However, trust the process will have to change because there has been an omitted. These are just squads at the moment. Not everyone has chosen their teams. Full forwards is Ben Brown versus Jared Rufford. Michael Walters is half forward versus Isaac Smith. I'm very deluded here because I want Isaac Smith and Jared Rufford to have a massive game. Two utilities are two Geelong players. It's Patrick Dangerfield and Reece Stanley. Selwood versus Andrew Gaff in the midfield. Now, Jared Lyons needs to come out. Still sidelines the other fella. Perhaps maybe I'll play Dan Hanbury in his 200th game. That's an option for me. Sinclair's in the ruck because Sandlands isn't playing against Lobb. Sicily, halfback versus Heath Shaw, had 88 points last week. And the tacklers are Brett Ebert and Hugh Greenwood. Well, what are the options? Well, Zorko's going to change. Zorko could possibly go into tackle and Eagle could go to follow. Or I could play, what's his name, Hanbury. Jarman Impey in Indigenous round for the recognition of Aboriginals. Maybe I can recognise him and play him. So there's a few options to choose from there. Petrarca's available, Papep's not available, and Rance, good halfback, should be traded unfortunately. As for I'm Coley on Roland. I'm not Coley, I'm Chris. Isaac Heaney is available. Tom Lynch, Daniel Rich, he's been dropped after this week. Poppy Hibbard, who had a very good game last week, and Ollie Wines. Oh, Ollie Wines is available. Not bad. Look at that one. Anyway, so who's going to win that one? Me. Come on, think about it. It's Coley. Got the bye this week. Next game is Rangers Anonymous versus Sugar Daddies. Projections on this one, Rangers Anonymous 359, Sugar Daddies 370. They are starting to get their team back together now. So let's have a look at it full forward. Halen Valentine's at full forward against Eddie Betts. Had a good game last week. Bontempelli half forward against Lance Franklin. Buddy against Carlton. Could be interesting, that one. I think he kicked 8 against him last year, the last game of the year. To get the collar, remember? It's utilities is Nat 5, so far the best utility in the game in my opinion. Probably Brody Grundy might be there actually. Versus Kelly, who's back from injury. Tom Mitchell versus Lockie Hunter, could be a good midfield battle that one. Kane Lambert and Lockie Whitfield are the followers. The ruckman, Stephen Martin, who's on fire. He's up against Golston, who they're actually playing against each other this week in real life. So there we go. Well, this isn't real life. What? A halfback is a Harakis. Jeremy Howe has to come out. He is there at the moment. Tacklers is Merritt and Elliot Yo. Options, well, Greg is an option. Carl Hook's an option. Brayshaw's an option. He's starting to get back into a bit of form. Tom Hickey's in the ruck as well, and Dan Butler also. And Chad Wiggar and Joe Pollock for Coley. For, what's his name? Kenner. Who's he going to drop? I don't know who's going to drop. He's got to drop someone there. As for the... Coley must be on my mind because I'm going to beat you bad. Who is he playing against now? Sugar Daddies. Oh, I've lost it. I'm already on holiday mode. I'm ready to go to Russia. It's Fantasia, Blakey, Ainsworth, Robbie Gray, Tom Rockcliffe, all available. Jeremy McGovern and Luke Dayhouse. Maybe McGovern can come in because of his 1%. He can go into halfback. Rockcliffe, he is starting to hit form. It's amazing that Robbie Gray and Tom Rockcliffe can't get a game in this team. Playing against Hawthorn this week. Hopefully they have a really, really bad team. But he didn't. They had a bye last week, that's probably why they're not in, and he isn't on his team yet. That could be an option. Alright, who's going to win that one? Buddy's going to rip Carlton apart. Sugar Daddies win. Alright, match of the round. It's first versus second. It's Gods of Olympus coming off their worst score of the year versus Renegades, who have been on fire. Projections 367 for Gods of Olympus. Against Renegades 405. I don't think Gods of Olympus team's quite right just yet. They have made a few changes, but Tom Lynch is back in now, playing his first game from injury. So have a look at it. Full forwards. Jordan DeHuey versus Tom Hawkins. Tom Hawkins, junk time Tommy. Half forwards, Tom Lynch versus Jack Gunston. The utilities is Dustin Martin and Brody Grundy. Martin's been real down on form. Is he going to step up on Saturday? I should hope so. And Brody Grundy's just been on fire. He's not playing. Sam Lanes isn't even playing this week, so what's he going to do? Midfielders is Rory Laird versus Patrick Cripps. Followers, Jack McRae has been absolutely fantastic. He could possibly go into the utility spot because he's getting over 100 as a utility. And Adam Shaw is the other follower. Jarrod Witch is back in the ruck against Sam Jacobs. Jacobs up against Rory Lobb, so you'll think he will have a few hitouts. And halfback is Jack Lloyd and Michael Hurley, who's back from injury. Tacklers, Meningola and Devon Smith, who's been getting 50 the last couple of weeks at the tackler. Options, well, for Michael, Jack Redden's an option. Rayner, Hitwood, Lockie Neal, Gary Ablett against the Gold Coast. Is he going to have a good game? Possibly. Shuey is back. And Westhoff and Jack Steele are also available. As for the informed Renegades, well, Mason Cox is there. Jack Martin's there. David Swallow and John Patton are available. Ryan Burden playing his last game for him. Jaeger O'Meara, he's also available. Liam Shields, obviously doesn't get a game. It wasn't good enough for a trade for, any of my players. That's all right, doesn't matter. Jack Siebel, Jack Watts, and Jack Billions are all there. Sorry, Nichols is out for 10 weeks, so Stiff may want to drop him. Maybe he doesn't see this in time. All right, so that's that one. Who's going to win it? Well, I reckon after next week there may be a new leader on top of the ladder. Or this week. All right, shut up, Nick. All right, let's have a look at the next game. It's Maltese Falcons versus Top Guns. The two whingers, the two, suck about everything, try to cause trouble. One's a Carn supporter, one's a Richmond supporter. Makes sense, really. Let's have a look at it. It's projections 375 versus 366. Maltese Falcons edging that one. Jeremy Cameron's the full forward against Jack Rewalt. Rewalt got concussed last week. Well, amazing he's playing this week. I mean, what's his name? Missed 2 games from it, so it'll be interesting if that's laid out. We'll see. I'm hearing there may be a trade coming for Fennick as well. See what happens. Curnow half forward versus Jack Darling. That's Charlie Curnow. Matthew Cruz is in the utility versus Caniglio. Matt Crouch versus Ward in the midfield. Ross and Bryce Gibbs are the followers. Tom Bell-Chambers and Ben McAvoy are the 2 ruckmen. Dyson Heppel versus Pendlebury in the halfbacks. The tacklers Ed Curnow and Mitch Robinson. And yeah, so who are the options? Well, let's have a look at the options for Mitch Robinson. Matched last week, all right? See what happens there. But, options for Falcons. Well, Rory Atkins is an option. Liam Jones could play his last game. Zach Tui's an option. Lockie Weller. Charlie Dixon. This may be Charlie Dixon's last game for Maltese Falcons if he's available. Jack Graham and remember who can't hit the side of the barn. What are you doing? Anyway, other options. Well, for what's his name? Who's he playing again? Oh, Dasher. That's right. Because you're irrelevant. I don't care. Nathan Jones and Jordan Lewis are the options. Brandon Ellis is an option, and Toby Nankervis is the other option. That's all he's got. Only 4 players to choose from the bench. 2 players in extended benches, but yeah, so no one who's dropped a few players there. It is Nathan Jones' 250th game this week, so he might be an option to play. Melbourne's on fire too. So he goes there. Who's going to win that one? Whew, I don't really know who's going to win. So let's just call a draw. Why not? Now, last game, it's Seek and Destroy versus Sir Pickle's Yum Yum. Yum, 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 yum. Seek and Destroy, 386. Projected. Sir Pickle's Yum, 355. It's our 3rd versus last. Let's have a look at the teams. Well, Tom McDonald's at full forward. Josh Kennedy at also full forward. He's up against St Kilda. So, yeah, see what happens with that one. Could be a big one. No Carlisle either. Hogan half forward versus Jarrod Waite. Jarrod Waite's against Brisbane. Utilities is Max Gawn and Josh Kennedy. So both Kennedys get a game this week. Parker is a midfielder versus Dane Beams. I heard this may be Parker's last game for Seek and Destroy. We'll see what happens. Follower is Jack Stevens versus Dylan Shields. The ruckman, Paddy Ryder, always has a big game against Hawthorn versus Nick Nat and Nui, who is up against Tom Hickey. He didn't know it should kill him, really. Aaron Hall, well, this is his last game for them. At halfback versus Kate Simpson. Clayton Oliver, the tackler, versus Ben Cunnington. And the options. Well, the options, Brendan Goddard, Jenkins, could be his last game. Wellington, Stringer, and Savage are options. As for Sir Pickle's Yum Yum, well, his options are Richard Douglas, Luke Hodge, Charlie Cameron. Jack Viney finds himself on the bench, as does Stephen May. He's 2 couple of halfbacks there. Travis Boak and Scott Lysett and Johannesson are all options for Sir Pickle's Yum Yum. Who's going to win it? Well, I think that the West Coast players are going to have a massive game, and I think this is going to be an upset. I think Sir Pickle's Yum Yum are going to win. So who's Melbourne playing this week? Can't remember. Oh, the Doggies. Yeah, Doggies don't have a defence, really. No ruckman either. Oh, mate. I might go. Actually, I might go. Nah, fuck it, 7 because I'm not. Why not? So that one's there, which means I'll probably be last in this week. Fuck. Millie, what's going on? It's alright. Alright, so don't forget the mid-season draft is pretty much going to start Friday night. It's going to be online. Log on, have your pick. We'll harass everyone to make sure they have their picks in time. It'll be finished by tomorrow night because let's be pretty quick, let's be honest. So good luck to everyone besides Collie this week. Thank you very much. I'll see you all next week before I jet off to Russia. Must go. Not how I do it? No? Sorry, Millie. Well, this has been a Millie production. Do it again. Do it. Cheers.